Hello, everyone. My name is Beatriz Paniagua, and I'm joining this work by Sam Horvath and John Christoffel and Ravan. We're all members of the medical computing team at Kitware. This presentation is about a framework that Kitware created called the 3D Slicer Custom App Template that is used to create custom applications based on 3D Slicer. At the end of this presentation, we hope you know how to leverage these tools to create efficient and robust applications to serve any custom biomedical or clinical workflows. So let's go ahead and get started. Kitware is a leading provider of software and research and development services. For that type of work, we partner with customers in the federal government, industry, and universities. Our team is close to 100 employees spread across 6 different offices in the United States and 1 in Europe. And most of our team members have this deep expertise in a variety of different fields. And this is demonstrated by the fact many of our team members have graduate degrees and advanced degrees. One of the main differentiating factors of Kitware is our commitment to open science. Most of the work that we do is based on vibrant enduring platforms such as 3D Slicer that foster innovation and collaboration. We are a highly collaborative company. We work with many different stakeholders across academics, government, and other commercial companies. And we perform custom application development in a variety of different fields, healthcare and life sciences, energy and manufacturing, and others. Importantly, we do a lot of deep learning and including ethical and explainable AI across all of different projects. We organize our workforce in several focus areas. One of them is computer vision that basically collects all of our projects that interpret and analyze visual data. Some examples of these projects are 3D reconstruction, motion analysis, and scene understanding. As previously stated, we are at the forefront of advancing the use of machine learning and deep learning across all of the Kitware domains and projects, and we are spearheading work in research in explainable AI, trustworthiness, and scalability, as well as ML DevOps. Another big group of our projects are those that concentrate on the visualization of complex data sets at scale. And most of this work is done enabled by 2 of our main open source platforms, VTK, the Visualization Toolkit, and ParaView. The group that Sam, JC, and I come from concentrates on projects that apply advanced imaging, AI, and visualization methods to aid biomedical and clinical challenges. We have many different projects, and I'll talk to those about those in the next slide. Finally, another group of our project portfolio concentrates on software systems and data solutions. Most of our software projects leverage CMake, that is Kitware's widely adopted open source build system that streamlines software compilation, testing, and packaging. But our data solutions projects concentrate on research platforms, cloud infrastructure, and open source lifecycle support. The medical computing group, as I was describing earlier, has a large number of capabilities and projects that are, I think, particularly relevant to this audience in RSNA. And some of these include, but are not limited to, simulation, computational imaging, medical image analysis, digital pathology, and medical DevOps. The key platforms that we use in the medical team are listed in this slide, and one of them, of course, is 3D Slicer. That is the next part of this presentation. Slicer is an open source software platform for medical image analysis and visualization. It allows users to ingest and export a wide variety of data types and imaging modalities. It can perform advanced image registration, segmentation, and visualization of complex anatomical structures coming from very different types of data. and includes an extensive suite of processing and analysis algorithms. 3D Slicer is very customizable and can support a wide range of applications. The main differentiating factors of 3D Slicer are a few listed here. First, what it makes it stand out is its ability to empower researchers with advanced tools without any licensing barriers. It also supports clinical translation and commercial innovation thanks to its permissive BD-style licensing. It is very modular, and that means it's very extensible. It can be easily customized and expanded for a wide range of biomedical imaging applications. And finally, it helps promote reproducible science and cross-institutional collaboration by enabling standardized, shareable image analysis workflows. 3D Slicer has been around for quite a while. It was first released in '98, and since then has had more than 2 million downloads, only 300,000 in the past 12 months. It has a strong academic reputation, and that is illustrated by the number of citations of its main paper in Google Scholar. The community has contributed close to 200 extensions in all of this time, and those have had more than 8 million downloads. The community is really active. It hosts this long-running event series called Project Week that are held twice a year. And it has had more than 4,000 total attendees throughout all the time that Project Week has been happening. Another marker of how active the Slicer community is the amount of foreign subscribers, with a large number of weekly posts and monthly page views. We believe Slicer has 3 primary use cases based on our observation of its community. A lot of people use it as a radiology workstation. It supports high-performance visualization and analysis across many clinical domains. A lot of academic and industrial labs use it as a research software platform, and because it provides a flexible programming environment to develop, test, and share novel quantitative methods. And finally, we believe the last primary use is that many industries use it as a basis for teams to rapidly prototype, iterate, and deliver solutions to end users. So it's a basis for product development. In order to understand how the custom app template libraries work, we have to describe a little bit about the 3D Slicer modular infrastructure. Slicer itself consists of framework, the core, and plugins, what we call modules. Custom functionality is introduced through external modules or Slicer extensions. Within the core module, we have the application with all the medical reality modeling language data types, I/O, and layouts. Within the modules, we have like basic UTLs such as volumes models, segmentation, basic segmentation functionality, and so on. There are key dependencies that are part of the Slicer core, namely the visualization toolkit, that is for rendering, the insight toolkit, or ITK, that is for input-output of data as well as processing. CTK is for DICOM processing, and then CMake is the basis for the build system packaging and testing. There are other important dependencies such as Qt that is used for UI, and Python and C++ that are the programming infrastructures for module development. And then there is OpenGL drivers for abstract leveraging of BTK. So everything stays cross-platform, as well as compatibility for a number of hardware drivers for devices to be connected to Slicer. There are several customization approaches, and they all have like different levels of complication. The simplest way to customize Slicer is to just go to the extension manager and install extensions that are interesting to you for your biomedical workflow. The second level is to build your own extension. Thanks to all of the support for Python and C++, you can ship your own Python C++ code, develop your custom UI, and then you can publish that through the public extension manager or through a private channel. And then the moment you need to jump to level 3 and use the Slicer custom app template libraries that we're presenting today is when you need branding and control over the UI, as well as installers, cross-platform installers. It is also important when you need to control your own versioning, as well as you need to pin the version of your dependencies, as well as the version of the basic Slicer that you're using to build your custom application. So in a little bit more detail, a custom application is what we understand by a custom application is a 3D Slicer installation package that has customized branding and customized features, and so on. We have listed here the link to the GitHub repository for you to get started browsing through the Slicer custom app template. All of these libraries will bundle 4 different components. Number 1, a specific version of Slicer based on git commit. This is useful if you want for your custom app to not change anything without you knowing. But you can also link to your own closed version of Slicer that has custom features. Because you have full control over the building of that custom app, you can set your own build options that serve your problem, as well as your own extensions and custom modules. Creating your own custom app based on Slicer is really simple. The first thing, there are like this very finite number of steps. First, you will generate the application framework from the template repository. Then you customize the Slicer configuration using CMake. You can go into the CMake lists and just set up your versioning for dependencies and the Slicer trunk you're using. It is possible to modify the application appearance, and I'll go into more detail on how to do that in the next section. You can also select the extensions and the custom application extension or custom modules. And the only thing that you need to do left is to hit build, and Slicer custom app template will generate the installers and everything that you need in your custom app. One of the main reasons why one might decide to go ahead and create their own 3D Slicer application is because there is the need to control the appearance of that application. So we thought it was important to mention a few details about that here and how you can go about doing that. Our team has mastered the customization of the 3D Slicer interface, and we have created Qt style sheets that basically provide definitions for all of the widgets that are used to render the UI of the application. Here's a link on some documentation on how to do that provided by Qt. This might be very time-consuming, but is a way to get really polished looks in your custom application based on 3D Slicer. So one way to customize this Qt style sheets is to go directly into the code and to start modifying widgets properties. So for example, the font or the colors of buttons and so on. And you can find your widgets, if whether this is a button or something else, by searching for all of these different attributes: class, parent class, object name, and so on. The Slicer community has created very useful tools that if you don't want to go into the Qt style sheet and edit those properties on your own, you can actually use these modules in a non-programmatic way. This is an example on how that module looks like, and you can see that it allows you to change the colors and fonts and properties of the widgets in a non-programmatic way. All of these tools also allow the person using them to remove and add UI elements. This is an example on how, one of these elements is the toolbar function on top of the Slicer UI. But it is possible, not only to remove elements, but you can also add extra elements. It's possible to customize the style sheet and add an extra widget to, for example, see an additional module panel. Traditionally, in the 3D Slicer interface, the module panel is on the left, but it's possible to move it to the right or add an additional one to the right if your biomedical workflow needs that. And this is another example of how an additional module panel might look like if you want to show your users additional information that you cannot see with a single module panel. But then all of these tooling also allows to reuse module logic from C++ and Python. And this is useful if you would like to reuse module logic from module to module, or even to include an entire module into another module. So all of this infrastructure is very versatile, and chances are you're going to be able to create whatever you need using it. At this point of the presentation, we wanted to give you a few examples of applications created with the Slicer custom app template libraries. The first one is Slicer Salt. Salt stands for Shape Analysis Toolbox, and is a great example of just a custom Slicer app that is just an extension bundle. It includes a bunch of customized modules for statistical shape analysis of anatomical structures, and it strips out all the rest of the modules. And it combines the ability to add new modules that are catered to in a specific community while still keeping all of the high quality full software life cycle functionality that Slicer provides. Slicer Salt has been used in academia and industry to, for example, design better fitting implants, to optimize surgical planning, and so on. And one of the custom features that Slicer Salt has is this home module that basically includes information about all of the different modules included in the bundle. Another example of these applications is the cell locator that was developed by Kitware in collaboration with the Allen Institute. This 3D Slicer custom app enables users to align brain specimen slices from mouse brains into standard 3D brain coordinate space or atlas. The UI is very different and is simplified of everything that is not visualization, because this is an application to basically interact with the viewers and mark things in the slices. Another example is the NewNav application developed for NewNav, and is a workflow application. So the UI is custom, is very simple, and it provides an emphasis on what needs to happen first, what needs to happen second, and so on. This application is basically a low-cost open-source neuronavigation system specifically designed for neurosurgery procedures in low-income countries. Next, we have a couple of applications shared with permission that were developed for commercial customers by Kitware. The first one is Sonoval, that is a high throughput automated preclinical ultrasound platform designed primarily for animal research. This application has a custom UI, and it has specific custom libraries that allow the software control a robot from this company that just support an ultrasound probe positioning without having to do multiple sweeps. The robot will take the ultrasound on the small images. And another example of commercially developed application is Stroll's small animal radiation research platform, and is intended for preclinical research rather than for full clinical human therapy. And it combines image-guided 3D imaging with COMBEAM CT, and also it has a targeted radiation device that provides custom delivery of radiation therapy in preclinical studies. At this point in the presentation, we hope you feel more empowered to use the 3D Slicer custom app template libraries to create your own 3D Slicer custom app. But we also wanted to mention that Kitware has recently launched a set of product offerings based on 3D Slicer. These are the 3 product offerings we are currently advertising. If you want to learn more, please go to the link below in the slide. But basically, the first one is maintenance. This means if your organization is using 3D Slicer, we're going to make sure that 3D Slicer is working as intended for your organization's need. And what this means is you're going to be capable of submitting issues or requests for support, developing extensions, or the development of custom modules, and so on. Another product offering entails the development of tailored training sessions led by our leading 3D Slicer engineers within Kitware. And this training packages can be either live instruction or online instruction, real-time QA. We can develop hands-on exercises to train your engineering team to do this work. And we have a few of these trainings already advertised in our link. You can check the calendar right there to see the type of things we're offering on that category. And then finally, we do a lot of custom development where we will partner with your organization to build a scalable and cost-effective 3D Slicer solutions that will belong entirely to you. This can be open source or closed source, depending on what are the needs of the application. We have a lot of experience integrating with market-ready hardware devices, as well as we do the DevOps work to deploy the custom product into the cloud or the web, as well as the integration with any ML models that you might be using. We also have experience developing the documentation needed for FDA submissions, so we can definitely talk about that with you if you're interested. And with this, I would like to thank you for your attention. Hopefully you will you found all of these useful, and please reach out if there are any further questions about the content of this presentation. I hope you have an excellent day. Thank you very much.